Time for American Family News Update. I'm Bronson Woodruff. President Biden announced plans to supply more air defenses to Ukraine at the NATO summit on Tuesday. Secretary of State Antony Blinken spoke at the NATO Public Forum today, on Wednesday, and he discussed some new provisions to aid Ukraine and to counter Russian aggression.
For the next decade, country after country has vowed to help Ukraine build its deterrent and defense capacity. That sends the strongest possible message to Vladimir Putin that he can't outlast Ukraine. He can't outlast Ukraine's partners.
Secretary Blinken confirmed F-16 fighter jets are heading to Ukraine from Denmark and the Netherlands right now. He emphasized global unity under the NATO alliance to prevent further attacks from Russia. The Republican National Committee's newly adopted party platform offers some encouragement for protection of life and the sanctity of marriage, but observers say where the party is going is not as good as where it's been. The weaker stance on abortion was an anticipated change in the party's first platform change since 2016. It made noted modifications in 2020. These are the first tweaks since the Supreme Court's ruling in 2022 on Roe v. Wade. Former President Donald Trump has said the states is where abortion should be decided. Reaching this point wasn't without drama. The new platform was rushed through the finish line. Strong pro-life voices were minimized or, in some cases, altogether removed. Ahead of the November election, the threat of a nuclear war remains a top discussion among the presidential candidates. Iran recently elected a new president of its own. This as the country is now reportedly enriching uranium closer than ever to weapons-grade levels. Former President Donald Trump went on Fox. He spoke about the rising threat that Iran poses.
Iran should not have a nuclear weapon. They should have never been in a position where they could have had. If I were president, they wouldn't even be thinking about a nuclear weapon. And now they're months away from getting one because Biden doesn't have any idea what he's doing. He's grossly incompetent.
The Biden administration has blamed Trump for breaking a nuclear agreement that slowed Iran's uranium enrichment, even though we're told Iran was complying with the terms of the deal at the time. The U.S. imposed fresh sanctions on Iran earlier this year, but recent reporting suggests that the Islamist regime is trying to dodge those sanctions. It's doing that by shifting personnel and resources to a university that has ties with the Islamist Revolutionary Guard Corps. A Detroit police lieutenant who was suspended after telling a pro-Palestinian anti-Israel protester, quote, "Why don't you just go back to Mexico?" end quote. He is now suing the department. Jeff Manasso reports.
Detroit Police Lieutenant Brandon Cole has filed a federal civil rights lawsuit against Detroit Police Chief James White, who suspended Cole without pay for a heated argument in May the officer had with a pro-Palestinian protester, all captured on body cam.
Why don't you just go back to Mexico? Because that's where you were hanging out. That was right. You were hanging out there and having a good time there.
I'm not even Mexican.
No, you went there. You went there.
Cole's attorney saying
he's not making reference to her ethnicity, that he's making reference to her Instagram.
Detroit police in a statement calling the suit baseless and unfounded, saying it will in no way deter the department from administering appropriate discipline based on all of the facts. Jeff Manasso, Fox News.
And that'll do it for this American Family News update, but by no means is that everything happening in the world. Feel free to explore AFN.net for more news from a Christian perspective. Thanks for watching. I'm Bronson Woodruff.